Hello, boys and girls. We are now back for social studies, and today's Tuesday, April 15, and we're gonna do our first social studies lesson. So you're going to need your magazine. You're gonna need your symbols magazine for social studies. Once you find it, you are going to open to, let's see. We already saw the first symbols. And we saw the Pledge of Allegiance last week. So today we are moving on to, okay, we're almost there. Our country begins. And that's the first page. It's page 12. This is the page that I want you to open to. Our country begins. Alright, here we go. Over here it says, a long time ago, settlers came here from England. A settler is a person who makes a home in a new place. And over here you can see, boys and girls, that this was actually the route that the settlers that we're going to talk about, they follow. They came from England on September 6, 1620. And they follow all this way to North America. And some of them are saying, are we there yet? It was a very long trip, boys and girls. And we took up a this trip every Thanksgiving. So you remember these settlers as the Pilgrims. Here we go. The settlers left England on a ship called the Mayflower. The trip was long and dangerous. After more than 2 months, the Mayflower reached land. So up to here we're good. You know that the Pilgrims came to America, and that's actually the beginning of Thanksgiving, right? Everything began with a long journey where they had to cross the Atlantic Ocean. Okay, let's see what happens first. So here on the next page, on page 13, you have a picture, boys and girls, of the settlers. This is actually not a photograph. This is more of a picture because there were no photographs when the settlers first came to America. And let's read a little bit about that. It says, the first settlers started a community. Other settlers came and started more communities. So this wasn't the only ship. Many other ships came after that one, after the Mayflower. The King of England called their land a colony. So these people that are coming from England, it looks like they're coming on behalf of the King of England. And we're going to see why now. It says a colony is a place that belongs to a country that is far away. This meant that the land was ruled by England. In all, the settlers started 13 colonies. Now, these settlers, boys and girls, they were not born here in the United States. They were not born here in America. They came from another country. So, that's why the country didn't actually belong to them. The country belonged to the Native Americans. They were the ones who lived here already. But the English people, the people from England, they thought that the Native Americans, they didn't know how to rule the country. So they took over the country, they took over the land, and even though they didn't know how to take care of everything, they actually tried their best. And we're gonna see how they succeeded in part thanks to the Native Americans, right? That's part of the history behind Thanksgiving. But many years passed after Thanksgiving, and then the country was getting bigger and bigger, and but England, the King of England, was still he still felt that he was the boss, that the country belonged to England, and he wanted this new country. He wanted America. I'm gonna go back to over here to the map so you can see it. He wanted America. So the king was over here, but he wanted America, boys and girls, because America had a lot of natural resources that he needed. and that England needed. So he was like, no, you cannot be one country, because I need you. You still belong to me. Even though he was over here, the King of England was still like, no, the people from England, pilgrims, they went to America. They went to form a country that was gonna become part of England, and it was that way for many years. But it got to a point that the people that came from England to live in America, they said, you know what? We want to become free. We want to become a free country. We don't want to belong to a king anymore. We want to have our own rules, and we want all our natural resources to stay here with us. So on the next page, we're going to see what happens. Oh, sorry about that. My page got stuck. So this new lesson is actually two lessons in one. It's called Freedom and Liberty. So that's what the people from the United States, from this new country, that's what they wanted. And it says Britain, England, which includes England. So England was part of Britain, was far away. It was across the ocean, right? On the other side of the Atlantic Ocean. Even so, people in the colonies had followed Britain's laws. Many people thought some laws were not fair. The leaders of the colonies wanted freedom. So they had a big meeting, boys and girls. They said, like we were saying before, you know what? We can continue this way. We want to be our own country. So this is what they did. They did the Declaration of Independence. And this Declaration of Independence was a document. And as you can see over here, boys and girls, many people signed that document. All these men that you see around the table, they signed the document. And probably many more people signed the document as well. The Declaration of Independence told the British king why Americans wanted to be free. On July 4, 1776, many colonial leaders signed the Declaration of Independence. It's a very long and fancy word. Some were Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, and John Adams. And you can see them over here. But the King of England was not happy with that. He didn't want to give away America to the Americans. He wanted to keep Americans to himself. And he wanted to keep all the natural resources that we have now. He wanted to keep everything for him. And let's see what happened. He says, Americans had to fight for their freedom. They fought a long war with Britain. And the good news is that they won. We won, boys and girls. So the colonies became states. At the beginning, there were only 13. But more parts of the United States joined the Union. And now we have 50 of them, right? It says the states joined together as one country, the United States of America. And here, that you can see here begins with "we the people." This is the original document that the fathers of our country wrote. And he says the leaders knew they needed rules for the country. Everyone agreed that liberty was important, but they didn't agree on everything else. You see, this is an indefinite pronoun, right? The leaders talked for 4 months. That's a lot of time. Let's see what happens. At last, the leaders agreed. James Madison wrote a draft of the Constitution. The Constitution is a set of rules for our country. It includes the ideas of many people. So it's basically what we have the rights to do, and probably the things that we have to, like the rules that we have to follow, right? So it's like a set of rules and responsibilities for all Americans to follow. That's the Constitution. So we have two documents that we see on this lesson. We see the Declaration of Independence. You remember what he said? He said the King of England, why the people from our country want to be free from England. We wanted to form our own country. The second document is the Constitution. The Constitution was written by James Madison, and it actually said it's a set of rules and responsibilities that we have to our country. Alright, boys and girls, so this was our lesson in the magazine, but don't put it away yet, because we're gonna still use it for our page. I want you to go to your packet now, and on your packet, boys and girls, I want you to go ahead and look for this page over here. I'm gonna show it to you right now. You don't have to take the page out of your packet. I just happen to have it out of my packet. Actually, I don't have a packet. I have the books. But I did this page myself, so you could use it, and we can write a little bit about what we've learned. And the title of this page is Our Country Begins. That's the page that we're doing today, Tuesday. Once again, I need you to go ahead and write your name and last name. You go ahead and write your name and last name. Alright, now we're going to write a little bit about each of these pictures. What happens first? We're going to write about how our country became a country. And over here, boys and girls, we can see a family, right? We can see a father, a mother, and a child. Do you remember who these people are? They are the Pilgrims, the settlers. The Pilgrims were the first settlers that came to our country. So we're going to write the Pilgrims. Oh, I don't have a good base here to write. So let's bring these down. So we're going to write a little bit about the first settlers. We're going to say the Pilgrims. Alright, the Pilgrims. We're going to put S at the end because we have more than one, right? Were. If you have more space over here, I'm not sure if I have it, but we have two lines, so we can use both of the lines. I'm sorry, my handwriting is not coming as good as I want, not coming out as nice as I wish. The Pilgrims were the first settlers. First settlers in our country. And these are letter T's. Letter T, no T's, right? Settlers. So, the Pilgrims were the first settlers that came to our country, right? Let's see what happens next. Do you remember the name of the ship that they traveled? That was the Mayflower. So we can say that they crossed the ocean on the Mayflower. They crossed the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean to be more precise. They crossed the ocean on the Mayflower. And we're going to write Mayflower with uppercase because that's the name of the ship that they travel on. So Mayflower. And then we put a period at the end. Alright, boys and girls. So after they cross the ocean on the Mayflower, here we see that they settled on a new country. The new country was the United States of America, what's today known as the United States of America. And as you may remember from the Thanksgiving story, the Native Americans play a very important role in helping the new settlers. And that's how we get also to the first Thanksgiving, because the settlers, they couldn't have survived without the Native Americans. So we can say the settlers or the Native Americans the Native oh, I need the word Americans to fit here, right? The Native Americans helped the new settlers, right? The new settlers. And it's funny because I always think that we are like settlers here in this country, right? Because a bunch of us were not born here. We come from other countries. So we're like settlers here too, just like the Pilgrims. So let's go ahead and take a look at the whole page. I know it's easier for some of you to pause the video and copy your sentences. So the first one says, the Pilgrims were the first settlers. They crossed the ocean on the Mayflower. That's the name of the ship that they travel on. The Native Americans helped the new settlers. They helped them by teaching them how to hunt, what to hunt, and how to plant the seeds, and how to take care of the new plants that they had. So the Native Americans were very, very helpful. If you are ready to continue, boys and girls, you can go ahead and unpause your video, and I want you to flip your paper because now we're gonna do the rest of this wonderful story. So here at the very top of the second part of this worksheet, you can see a king, and it looks like a very powerful king, and also a little bit of an upset king, right? He's mad because he wants the United States for himself. He wants America for himself. But he cannot have it because the people who live here in America, they want to be free. They don't want to have a king on the other side of the ocean. They want to have their own rules and their own laws. So this king was King George. And that's what we're going to write here. King George. He was actually King George III. He has a crown, you see. King George. Let me see if I can write the next word over here. King George wanted America for him, right? He doesn't want the Americans to have a country for themselves. That was many, many hundreds of years ago. America, well, actually not that many. King George wanted, America, not American. So I don't have a way to erase this ink. So King George wanted America for him. He wanted this new land for himself. For himself. Okay, so something happened, boys and girls. The Americans said, you know what, King George, no more. We are done. We want to be free. We want to have our own country. So this is what happened, boys and girls. What happened is that they had to fight. They had to fight a very, very long war against a very strong country, against England. So let's say Americans fought. Fought is the past of fight. Fought against England. This was also called the Revolutionary War. Against England. England is the name of the country, right? The country on the other side of the ocean. Now, boys and girls, this happened hundreds of years ago, and now people from United States and England, they are friends and they don't fight anymore because they finally accepted that our country had the right to be free and we had the right to have our own laws and our own rules. So Americans fought against England and we won, right? All right. So let's see what happens next. You remember all the people sitting around the table? So this is like a kind of a cartoon picture, and here you have the real deal, right? The real picture. Once again, there were no photographs back in 1776. So this is another picture. This was painted by someone. By the way, boys and girls, I want you to look at this date, July 4th, 1776. Does it look familiar to you? Does it sound familiar? July 4th? Well, the day that the Declaration of Independence was finally done, it's also and finally signed, it's the day that we consider as our Independence Day, July 4th. It's the day when we can see the fireworks, and we usually have picnics with our family and friends. So that's Independence Day, July 4th. And it's all because we won that war, right? So we're gonna write something about this. This is, well, this could actually also be the Constitution, right? When we wrote the Constitution. So the Declaration of Independence was actually the first step. Was when we told the king that we wanted to be free. After that, we fought a war, and when finally the war was won, and now we had to agree. All the states had to agree on a set of laws. And that set of laws was the Constitution, the United States Constitution. So we can say that people agree. People agree on laws, or actually it should be rights and responsibilities. So we're gonna add that people agree on laws, rights, and responsibilities that we had toward our country. That's such a long word. Let's see if I can put it. Oh, that one, my letter O. Responsibilities. That's a long word. Oh my goodness, I won't be able to make it. Okay, so I kind of made it there, and actually I'm going to cross it out from here. I'm gonna put it on the bottom. All right, I know your papers gonna look so much better than mine, because you're gonna see all my mistakes and you're gonna fix them, right? So this set of laws, rights, and responsibilities was known as the Constitution. And we still use it, boys and girls. We still use it. So once again, I'm going to get our last page on the screen, so you can also pause the video, and you can copy these sentences. So do not forget, you don't have to do that. You don't have to copy that ugly part. That responsibilities is a very long word, and it didn't fit over here. I'm so sorry about that. Alright, boys and girls. So if you're done, do not forget that you can color your pictures on this side and on the other side. And you can, every time you color the pictures or you look at the pictures, you can think about what you learned today. And hopefully all of these stays in your memory. So do not forget, all these pictures, you are more than welcome to color them. Use nice colors. Alright, boys and girls. So now, if you are done, you can unpause the video whenever you finish. And this is our last lesson for today. So do not forget to do your spelling city, at least one activity after you do the activities that I assign you, you can do whichever other games you like to. But I need you to first do the activities that I assign you. And then do not forget to do your I ready for at least 10 minutes in your IXL. Well, see you tomorrow, boys and girls, for our reading lesson. Bye.